Everybody. Welcome to Canadian Mortgage Weekly. So excited to have anyone who's tuning in this morning to chat. And yeah, I'm excited this morning to go through some more first-time buyer tips. Last week, I covered off all of the incentives and rebates, grants that are all available to you as a first-time buyer. So if you haven't checked that out, for sure, go ahead and watch last week's video to learn some more information about some of the opportunities that are available to you specifically as a first-time buyer. So just a little introduction from myself. So if you haven't joined us on this program before, this is Canadian Mortgage Weekly. My name is Sam Thompson. I am a mortgage agent in the Barrie Simcoe area, but serving all of Ontario. I've been in the industry for just over a year now, and primarily working with a lot of first-time buyers. So that's really an area that I've had lots of conversations, lots of meetings, done lots of webinars for first-time buyers, outlining, what the process looks like, what's available to you. So I'm happy to be with you guys this morning, just sharing a bit more insight about some things that are good to know as a first-time buyer. And we're typically joined with Joe Bladdock, who again is a mortgage professional in the Barrie Simcoe area, serving all of Ontario. Joe's been in the industry for over 10 years. He's worked on many files from first-time buyers to investment properties, secondary home. Joe is the mortgage master. So definitely, if you have any questions after this video or just in general about the mortgage process, feel free to watch any of the previous Canadian Mortgage Weekly videos where we covered off topics like purchasing investment property. We did a 4-part series on refinancing for investments, for debt consolidation, lower rate. Just a real wealth of knowledge Joe has. So definitely reach out to our office and chat with, myself, Joe, or Terry Lynn, for any questions that you have or to look at, your mortgage with you. And just a bit of news before we get started. I know that this week was exciting for home buyers, first-time buyers, that is, in Toronto or over in Vancouver, and I believe Victoria, as the first-time homebuyer incentive 2.0 officially launched on Monday. So this was a program that was announced, I feel like it was about 5 months ago or so, that we've been keeping our eye on to see what the specific details of the new incentive is. How much could this help first-time buyers? So if you are a first-time home buyer, the incentive was or still is that you receive 5 or 10% down on your first-time home purchase in a shared equity loan through the government. So the original loan that is still available through all of Canada is the maximum qualifying income was $120,000, and your maximum mortgage loan amount was limited to 4 times your household income. So where that worked for some areas, a lot of areas with higher home prices, more of a competitive market such as Toronto or Vancouver, it didn't really work for them because they were so limited to maximum household income, as well as the purchase, like their qualification didn't really make sense with the market in Toronto to purchase anything for, I think on average it was about 505,000 would be close to your max purchase price with the incentives. So this rollout actually increases your household income to 150,000 from 120,000, and it actually increases the loan amount cap to 4.5 times your household income rather than just 4. So this could be big because it does actually increase the theoretical maximum to about 720,000 from, again, the previous average of about 505,000. So it does, again, it might still fall a little short in Toronto, but if you're looking at buying in the GTA, this is definitely something new to explore. So if we're looking, or even if you've previously chatted with our office, I know there's a few that we've talked with that, even with the first time buyer incentive, they still felt kind of boxed out. And specifically buying in those areas, it actually, in some cases, helped for you to qualify for more not using the incentive because there's no limits. So we'll see how this actually affects the market for first time buyers, if it really does give them a benefit. But definitely reach out to us, and we can run the numbers with what you qualify for, plus what you qualify for with this new incentive, to see if that helps you get into your home and start saving on those monthly mortgage payments by increasing your down payment. So yeah, so I could just jump in. So last week, again, as I was saying, I covered off a lot of the first time buyer incentive grants and rebates. So this is how to get money back when you're buying, some qualifying amounts or rebates that a lot of first time buyers don't even know that they have access to. A lot of them that we talk to, they know some, or they think that some they qualify for and some they don't. So it was good to give you guys kind of a broad idea of this is what you would qualify for, and this is how it would affect your purchase price. So now, just to finish off this first time buyer series, I'm going to be covering off sort of the process from start to finish, looking at the different steps that are involved in starting to think I want to buy a home, to the closing date, you get your keys, and you've achieved the dream of getting your home ownership. So yes, I'll be covering off all of those steps into about 5 rough steps. So let me just share my screen here, and then we can get started in covering off what you qualify for. Okay, so here it is. So first time buyers, so taking steps to owning your home. So this is just outlining so that you know what to expect. A lot of first time buyers, they're already anxious enough because it's the first major purchase they've ever had to make. It is, the biggest loan they'll have to have. It's a very big decision, and not knowing, what's expected of you or what's involved can actually just elevate the stress level when you're chatting with anyone in our office. We know that first time buyers have a lot of questions and sometimes a lot of concerns. So hopefully this will clear up the process for you and give you some tips to get ahead before you start looking for your actual home, just so that you know where to begin. So just in 5 general steps to owning your home, the first is going to be starting the conversation. Next, moving into a pre-approval. Then from a pre-approval, setting up a home buying team, finalizing your documents so that we can get broker complete, fully finish your file. And then the last step is just going over closing and getting the keys to your home. So step 1, starting the conversation. So this is going to be the biggest and most beneficial space to start, because it helps to have a game plan once you're going into it. So looking at what your financial plans are, where you want to be in 5 years from now, what your income is, what your income will look like in 5 years, career path, where you are, is there any raises, as well as working towards some financial goals when you're looking to enter into the real estate market, such as how much can you set aside for a down payment, or how much would you want to. If this is a preliminary conversation, it can be based on house prices that we're seeing, we need a minimum of 5% down. So roughly, what does that mean we need to start saving for, or start preparing conversations with co-signers or gifted funds from family in order to actually be able to purchase a home. Looking at how much home do you need. So do you have 5 kids and you need, multiple bedrooms, multiple baths, or is it just your first purchase, just you and, a potential spouse and the dog, where, maybe something more affordable to start building equity to roll into a bigger property later on. All of these things are really important factors, and they'll shift the decision of what you end up going for, and they'll shift, what strategy makes the most sense for, your entry into the real estate market. And of course, checking your credit score is also a really good step, just to see where you stand, if it's, time to start, looking more seriously at building your credit, seeing where your credit is at through a lot of mobile banking apps. I know that you can look at sort of a soft score to get an idea of where your credit is at, as well as there's sites available like Credit Karma, where they again will do a free test. It won't be the exact same numbers because it's a soft check, but making sure that your credit score is strong enough to get a mortgage is also going to be a great place to start, because then, once you're chatting with a mortgage professional such as, myself, Joe, or Terry Lynn, it helps you to sort of understand where you're at financially so that you can explain it to us, and then we can learn where you're at and work together towards getting you pre-approved and into a home. So again, that takes us into the second part of the conversation, which is starting to talk with a mortgage professional. So even if you don't, have your down payment, you don't have your financial plan, if you're interested in getting into the market, the best place you can start is speaking with a mortgage professional, and definitely working with a mortgage broker or agent versus the bank is a bit more beneficial, just because there's a wider variety of what's available to you through a mortgage agent or broker rather than the bank, because we actually have access to quite a number of different banks and lenders, and from there we'll be able to decide, this looks like the best fit for what you're looking for. This is the best rate that we can get you. We're not locked into just working with Scotia or TD. We can use a very varied list of the lenders that we can process your mortgage through. And through this, through chatting with us, we're likely going to run you through a pre-qualification appointment. So this can be a 20-minute phone call or Zoom call where we'll take a look at your finances, such as your income, any debts or liabilities you have, cars owned, that sort of thing. And from there, we can actually give you a rough idea of, based on preliminary numbers, you qualify for X. So you would qualify for 300,000, let's say. So it's a great first step, because then that actually lets you know, realistically, talking to someone in the industry for a 20-minute phone call, now I know this is actually what I qualify for. And also, usually from the pre-qualification calls, we get an idea as your mortgage professional what steps would benefit you best, whether it is saving more for down payment, adding a cosigner, paying off a car loan. We'll be able to play with those figures and give you a strategy moving forward, so that you're actually making steps that are going to increase the amount of home that you're able to purchase. And then the biggest step next is just to pivot from a pre-qualification where nothing's confirmed, there's no rate hold, it's just an idea of what you qualify for, and pivoting into a pre-approval. So this gives you an even more accurate maximum purchase price, because we will be using your actual income amounts from pay stubs or T4 averages, something like that, to actually give you, we'll pull a credit check, so we'll know exactly what your liabilities are, we'll know exactly your income. And the benefit of getting pre-approved is that it actually provides a rate hold for 120 days. So this is good. We've seen that, rates kind of have stayed around the same level, but they're expected to go up as the economy starts to grow. We start to get our feet back under us after COVID. We're expecting that the rates eventually will slowly rise up to a more soft landing. So it's really good to get pre-approved, because you'll actually get a rate hold certificate for those 120 days, that in the event you place an offer, that rate is actually held in the event of rates going up. It's a fully virtual process, and is actually completely free. I think the majority of pre-approvals or pre-qualifications that I do are over the phone, but Zoom is another very nice option as well, because you do get not necessarily face-to-face, but you get some screen-to-screen contact with the person that is going to be working with you financially. So it's a really good step to get comfortable with each other, and get to see this is this is what I qualify for, and really starts the process off really well. And really all you need is just photo IDs sent in and some pay stubs, so that we can really calculate what your income is, And again, as I said, we'll do a credit check to see what your liabilities are moving forward so that we can give you, this is your max qualification. The third step, once you have your pre-approval in hand, is going to be setting up your home buying team. So this is a really important step that a lot of people don't necessarily think of. Some prefer to not use a realtor to purchase their home, or they just rely on the seller's agent. But it's really important that for you to get the best service and the best experience in purchasing your first home is to set up your buying team. So we can't stress enough how important it is to have a local real estate buyer's agent. If you don't already have one in mind, we can refer you to agents that we have worked with in that area before. If you're looking to buy, anywhere, we can have that chat and see if we can hook you up with an agent to start looking at homes. So the point of getting a local one, they know the local market. They have an idea of what houses will look like based on your pre-approved amount. They know what properties are going to sell fast, especially in a competitive market. We're starting to see the market getting a bit more competitive again. It's good to have a professional that's advocating on your behalf and knows exactly, this is going to be our best step moving forward based on what you qualify for and what you're looking for in a home. Yes, again, they work on your behalf and they're paid by the sale of the home, not directly by you. So again, it's in their best duty, their best interest to get you into your home and provide you with the best experience possible. Also looking into real estate lawyers, because once that live offer is submitted, that's going to be the first question from us beyond getting all of your documents is, what lawyer are you planning on working with? A mortgage agent, such as myself, Joe, or Terry Lynn, and looking at home inspectors as well. So these are all really important assets for you to have on your side working for you in this process. Once your offer is in, we're going to be asking for a number of documents. Now, sometimes, depending on what your scenario is or what your employment looks like, all of that, we might ask for these documents further up in advance, closer to the pre-approval. But once you submit an offer is really when we start moving into finalizing the documents and getting everything in that we need so that everything can be fulfilled by the closing date. So just as a general list based on, a full-time permanent employee, we'll need some employment letters that are dated within 30 days. It's important that these are on the company's letterhead. Again, they're dated and they're also signed by, whoever is at the company writing the letter, if it's your boss or HR representative. But those are really important. We'll need your most recent pay stubs. We'll need a 90-day bank statement for where your down payment is coming from. So if you're planning on using, say, the home buyer's plan and withdrawing from your RRSP, we'll need a 90-day statement for that RRSP account. Or if it's coming directly from a checking or savings account, again, we'll need the 90-day statement to confirm that those funds have been there for those 90 days. If you are separated or divorced, we will need a separation agreement, stating that you are or you aren't paying any child support, any of those kind of things, and you're past 2 years T4. So again, these are all relatively general. Again, most of them we will still need, but it does vary case to case. But it's important to know what will be required from you, because sometimes not knowing in advance, we get some first-time buyers that are taken aback a little bit of, I need to provide all of these documents, and if closing is only a month away, 3 weeks, it can be hard to get all of these documents if you had no idea what you needed before. So it's a good step to just understand and know what documents are going to be required from me. Again, getting them ahead of time will definitely help the process run smoother, and we really don't want to see the deal coming up to the day that we need an extension or we need more time, we need to push back the closing date because that could cause additional costs and fees that you are responsible for out of pocket. So as soon as we can get these documents in, finalized, get the deal broker complete on our end with the lender, it's going to be the best scenario and the easiest one for everybody involved. And there will be a signing appointment made if you choose to book one with us. We'll reach out and go through all of your mortgage documents once we have the approval, and we'll just go through all of the rates, the payment frequency, insurance, all of those types of things. We'll run through page by page if you'd like. We've done these over Zoom, also just over the phone, to make sure that you fully understand what you're signing and you fully understand the total mortgage process up to that point. And then the final step is once the closing date arrives, the conditions have been met, you've gotten all your documents in, and they're signed. It's up to you and your lawyer. So we're going to monitor with the lender on the day of closing to make sure that the lender has dispersed the funds, and they will arrive. Your lawyer will give you the keys once the final steps have been completed on their end. And then from that point on, you are officially a first-time home buyer. And then it's into, you've completed the process. There is a email that we'll send out. We will, try and stay in touch to make sure everything closed smoothly, make sure everything's going okay. And typically that's when we get a response back that there is the huge sigh of relief, where everybody can just, relax. You have your keys, everything's signed, the mortgage is set up, it's registered. It's really an exciting moment, and it's really awesome to be a part of all these first-time buyers. Once they have that moment where they understand, I'm in my home and I've made it essentially, right? And just a few things to consider that I might not have mentioned, or are just things to keep in mind if you're looking at getting into the housing market. So employment income is counted differently depending on various factors of how you are employed. So self-employment income will be calculated a little differently. We might need more documents for that. Same with commission-based income. If it's anything like that, typically we'll need a 2-year commission average in order to use that income. So if you're on a base salary plus commission, we'll need at least 2 years of T4s of you claiming those tax income on your tax return to use an average to get a commission added to your base salary. So definitely it is a bit case to case depending what your employment is. In today's market where house prices are so high, and it can be really difficult for first-time buyers even to qualify or come up with the down payment, minimum 5%. So really it's large that we're seeing there's a need for co-signers and a lot of first-time home buyers, whether, again, they need a family member to co-sign to help with the employment income so that you qualify for more, or getting gifted funds added to help offset the loan amount versus the purchase price. So that's also a good thing to consider if your income, if your household income is quite low, or just lower than you think you need to qualify. Just be aware that that could be a conversation to have. And again, starting that conversation earlier rather than later is always beneficial because it helps you get more prepared when you're chatting with us. If you are on new employment, it's important to note if there is a probationary period. Most lenders will need you to be past that. Typically it's 3 months. Some employers it's a year. So it's good to know that you are past the probation period and you are a permanent full-time employee. And avoiding borrowing before you buy. So we really it really can kill the deal if we process your pre-approval, you've submitted a live offer based on the pre-approval, but then you need a new Ford F-150 truck that has this massive car loan payment that you're now paying off. That can definitely make it difficult to achieve financing. So definitely not borrowing before you buy, waiting until after your closing date to make that purchase or to add that loan is going to be so beneficial for you. I didn't cover off everything. That was just an essential 5 steps of what the process looks like from when you first, think about owning your home. You first decide to enter the real estate market, to the closing date, getting your keys. Those are a couple steps. But if you are looking at getting into your first home, you're looking at seeing the prices, you've asked for a cosigner, you have any questions just of what you qualify for, definitely feel free to reach out to our office. Our phone number is going to be 705-238-3479. You can also email us at joe@joebladnick.com, or you can direct message us through Facebook or any of our social media accounts. We would love to chat with you and go through the entire process with you, because it is very case to case. So I definitely hope that this has been helpful for you if you're looking at entering the market as a first-time buyer. If you had any questions before the process started, I'm just checking. I don't see we have any. You can comment them below. We'll definitely reach out to you with an answer to some of those questions if you just write them on the video below. Beyond that, we will see you for next week, where Joe will be joining us, and we will be starting a new series. So it'll be really exciting, and you don't want to miss our next week's video with Joe. And I believe we have a special guest lined up for the following week. So it has been a pleasure being on with you guys. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me this morning with Canadian Mortgage Weekly as I chatted about the first time buying process. So again, just feel free to reach out to us, and we will see you next week at 11:30 for our next video.